friends, it's Brandy, and we're doing another Horror Media Monthly. This is going to be covering all of the horror that I got into during the month of July. And July was jam-packed with a lot of like theater release, horror adjacent, and I'm so excited to get into it all with you because I'm a horror junkie. When I actually have a month that's packed with new horror, it's so exciting. So we're going to get into it. But before we do, fellow reminder, I do put up new videos here every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern. Hit that subscribe button for more content. And if you like gaming content or you want to delve into the full playthroughs of all of the games I'll be discussing today, you can check that out both over on Twitch when I'm live, Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. or my second channel here on YouTube, which has all of my gaming VODs, clips, and other goodies. Without further ado, let's get into the movies I checked out this month. So starting off, this is like horror adjacent more so, but we're going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, the Jurassic Park movies as a kid scared the crap out of me. Obviously, as an adult, they're not really scary. Every once in a while, you get some jump scares, but they're not your standard horror. But I figured it would work for this, and I'm still putting it in this video because we do horror adjacent thrillers, mysteries, all that jazz. It goes in here. But the premise of Jurassic World Rebirth, we have a new potential trilogy coming out. This is separate from the original Jurassic Park trilogy and the Jurassic World trilogy. This follows Zora Bennett, who leads a team of skilled operatives to the most dangerous place on Earth, an island research facility for the original Jurassic Park. Their mission is to secure genetic material from dinosaurs whose DNA can provide life-saving benefits to mankind. As the top-secret expedition becomes more and more risky, they soon make a sinister, shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. So essentially the premise of this one is that they're going to this island with all of these like reject dinosaurs. So a lot of them either didn't like morph with the frog DNA properly or like blended with other things or didn't develop regularly. So the dinosaurs on this island are like unpredictable, which adds to kind of some of the scariness of it because it's creatures we've literally never seen before. We're getting T-Rexes that aren't standard T-Rexes, Velociraptors that aren't standard, and I loved it. I really, really like this. I wouldn't really have even titled this a Jurassic World movie. It feels more like a Jurassic Park movie. It brings us back to the movie literally being about dinosaurs. I don't want all this extra stuff going on. I just want them on an island and there's dinosaurs and they're trying to survive. And that's exactly what this movie is. I was so pleased with it. There is characters that like you're easily made to hate right off the rip. The characters they want you to like, you fall in love with. I feel like this had the right formula for a good Jurassic Park movie. And I feel like they're finally coming back after the last couple of Jurassic Worlds were like, for me personally. So if you like the original Jurassic Park movies, this one you're gonna like. And a little Easter egg, it has a lot of parallels to the first Jurassic Park movie. So if you do watch it, be on the lookout for those. And next up, going with another franchise that's coming back in revival, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, this movie it's not a remake, which a lot of people are thinking it is. It is a continuation of the franchise. This is technically the fourth movie in the franchise, but like we don't talk about the third. It's like not canon, doesn't make sense. And this movie takes place after the events of the second movie. So it pretty much negates the third movie from happening. So I would definitely recommend watching at least the first movie before going into this because we do have returning characters. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. When 5 friends inadvertently cause a deadly car accident, they cover up their involvement and make a pact to keep it secret rather than face the consequences. 1 year later, the past comes back to haunt them as they learn someone knows what they did last summer. Stalked by a mysterious killer, they soon seek help from 2 survivors of the legendary Southport Massacre of 1997. So like I said, this follows suit, continuing the story from the original. It definitely parallels the first movie pretty closely with having similar setups, but they make some changes in this. Some that I liked, some I wasn't particularly happy or thrilled with, but ultimately I really enjoyed this movie for what it was. It felt like it was an early 2000s movie, which is, the era of when the first and the second movie came out. I feel like they were trying to give that like slight little cheesiness. This is a good campy summer horror movie and it delivers exactly as you want. If you are a fan of the original, there might be some things that here that you love, and there might be some things here that you don't like, but I definitely say that it's worth the watch. And I even got some merch. So I got both the cups, but I'm just gonna show this one for now. So it's the memorabilia, and when you fill it up, it like goes red, which is really cool. I got this topper for it, as well as this topper. So it's him in like the slick suit. Him, her, you don't know. But we've got that, which is pretty cool. And then the main event, which is the thing I really wanted, is the tackle box. This thing is so cool. It's like actual metal. It has that inside there. It's like pretty sturdy too. I actually got this a little after the movie came out, so it was discounted. Which was cool because I tried to buy it early and they like wouldn't let me. And then it was like sold out everywhere. And then it magically came back. I don't know. But I'm so glad that I got it because I really wanted this. And I haven't really gotten like cool horror movie merch at the movies in a bit. So this was definitely a steal for me. And then next up, I also checked out Together. This movie stars Dave Franco and his wife, Alison Brie. And this was a very new, unique, weird concept, which I really, really enjoyed. There was a lot of body horror in this movie, so trigger warning to that if that's not something you like. If like the substance made you uncomfortable, this movie will definitely make you uncomfortable, but it's low-key worth it. Years into their relationship, Tim and Millie find themselves at a crossroads when they move to the countryside, abandoning all that is familiar in their lives, except for each other. With tensions already flaring, a nightmarish encounter with a mysterious, unnatural force threatens to corrupt their lives, their love, and their flesh. When I saw the trailer for this, I wasn't totally sure if the blending and mushing of them together was like a literal thing or a figurative thing, because it does show like they kiss and their lips get stuck. There's another time where like their arms kind of like stick a little, so I wasn't sure if this was like in their head and they're like, you know, some sort of psychosis, they're losing it or something. So the movie leaves it a little open-ended. The first scene of the movie, it tells you what's happening. They're literally like smushing together. So that's not really a spoiler because I'm sure people grasp that concept because they do show that, but I personally was like, I don't know. But it's a little bit of a slow burn at first because they're kind of giving us flashbacks to establish where these characters are in their lives. And then the characters do make some really stupid decisions with I'm like, why? So it's one of those movies where you're like yelling at the screen because the characters are just infuriating you at times. But this was really good overall. It was new, it was unique, it was weird. One of my favorite things about it was the characters being kind of self-aware of being in a horror movie. Like there's multiple times where they're just like, what is happening? And I feel like we don't get that enough in movies where like weird shit's happening and the characters are just like okay with the weird shit happening while we're watching it. Like, how are these people not faced by it? So I like that that's being added into these horror movies where they're actually like acknowledging that this is weird and like exclaiming about it like a normal person would. And this has that, and I really enjoyed it. This one definitely worth the watch, but like I said, does have some kind of weird parts, but it doesn't get too far-fetched like The Substance does. This one like still keeps it moderately grounded, and the ending is bonkers. So if you want like a new concept that's kind of gonna make you uncomfortable, this is the go-to. Then I got to catch up with a movie that came out earlier this year, and that was Death of a Unicorn. This stars Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd, Will Poulter. Like the list of how many good people are in this movie it's long. This is more of a horror comedy. I mean, it's literally about a killer unicorn. So you can kind of like understand that this is not going to be taken seriously throughout the entirety of the movie, and that doesn't take away from it all. A weekend retreat has deadly consequences when a father and daughter accidentally hit and kill a unicorn while en route to find his billionaire boss, who seeks to exploit the creature's miraculous curative properties. This movie starts off like right with them hitting the unicorn, and then immediately it's just like, what the hell is happening? So you jump right into the action right off the rip. And honestly, this movie for me personally, it just kind of got like crazier and crazier. The CGI, I mean, it's a killer unicorn. Well, unicorns, I should say. There's multiple. You know we're going to get CGI. You know it's going to be a little wonky. But I feel like the fact that you know it's a horror comedy doesn't take away from it because you're like anticipating it to be a little cheesy. I must say the deaths in this, A+, really enjoyed them. I thought the characters were great. So many of them were the perfect blending of comedic and serious, especially Will Poulter. His character is probably my favorite in the whole movie. I really enjoyed literally anytime he was on screen. He was amazing and delightful. I loved it. And this is just like a fun, stupid watch. If you want a horror movie that's not too serious, not too scary, but just like enjoyable, this is like a popcorn horror movie. And then I actually caught a movie that I found on Netflix that came out in 2022, and that was The Weekend Away. This movie actually drew my attention because so that Leighton Meester was in it, and I just finished a first-time watch of Gossip Girl. So seeing her face pop up, I was like, let me check this out. So The Weekend Getaway is when her best friend vanishes during a girls' trip to Croatia, a woman races to figure out what happened. However, each clue yields another unsettling deception. So this is more of like a thriller mystery than your standard horror, where literally she shows up, it's a girls' trip, and then like the next day her friend's missing. Pretty self-explanatory of how the movie is going to kind of progress given the first like 20 minutes of it. And the thing that I did like about this is there's a lot of twists and turns where you're kind of following along with the story and trying to guess a whodunit. It's one of those types of movies. And at no point in time was I like, I knew what was going to happen next. So this really kept you on your toes and kept you guessing of who, you know, the perpetrator was or what was going to happen. And I really enjoyed that. This was a surprise hit for me. I mean, it's got a similar kind of feel to a couple other movies I've seen in the same sort of genre, but all around, this was a good one if you haven't checked it out. It was a sleeper hit for me because I never even heard of it. And then last up, I got to some games. It's not that many. First off, I checked out Crows Did You Can, which is another Chillers Arts game that just came out the beginning of this year, so it's not that old. And if you've ever seen me talk about Chillers Arts or my playthrough them, they're normally pretty quick playthroughs. I think this game took me maybe 2 hours at most. It wasn't a very long one. But this one in particular is about a father who's grieving the loss of his daughter and receives a cursed digital camera from a mysterious website. The website claims the camera can capture and liberate spirits of deceased loved ones by uploading their photos. So you play as the father, you go to this park, and you're trying to capture photos of like your ghost daughter so that you can free her spirit. And honestly, I can't really tell you much more than that without spoiling things. This game got me. It's scary, it's spooky, a little bit of trigger warning because it takes a crazy turn towards the end. So if, you know, some of the Chillers Arts, if they have been unsettling to you before, this one kind of follows suit with the themes of the previous ones, especially being that it is a child that is the victim in this one. But this one had a really good spooky twist, and I liked the premise of the taking the photos. It gave me like Fatal Frame feels and vibes, and that game terrified me as a kid, so this followed suit with that as well. And then last but not least, I checked out Who's at the Door. This was a new horror game that also just dropped this past month, and Who's at the Door is a psychological horror game where the player, suffering from psychosis and memory loss, must decide whether to open the door or take the medicine when someone knocks. This is a spot the anomaly type of game where you're like in your apartment, you wake up or you spawn in this one room of your house, and then you hear the door knocking. And as soon as you enter like the living room is when potential anomalies happen. Sometimes it's just things standing still. Sometimes it's jump scares. Sometimes it's like a random shit. This one got me with some jump scares, like real bad jump scares. But ultimately, the story from this was really good. Like, I've played other Spot the Anomaly games, and the story is like, there's not much to it. This has a story. It develops over time, and the payoff is like, it's one of those. Definitely worth it. Does have some jump scares, but this one I would say is a little bit milder than some of the others that are like pure jump scare. really, really enjoyed this for a short indie game, and I think it was either the first or second from this particular company. So I'm hoping for more for them because this was a win for me. But ultimately, that was everything that I checked out in the month of July. I didn't get any physical media. I haven't really been finding as much, but I did get the cool merch from the movies. And August is already jam packed. We're only 2 weeks into August as me filming and uploading this, and I've already checked out a couple movies, a bunch of games. So next episode is gonna have lots of goodies. But I do hope you enjoyed this. As always, please give me a big thumbs up on this video if you love horror content and you want to see more on the channel. And if you have any suggestions for any horror games, shows, movies, you know the drill here. You can always comment those down below and I'll try to check things out and just venture into more. I love finding new horror, so I'm always down for exploring. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye, fam!